this conversation is for the person who feels, okay, I've struggled January to June. I've tried my best. It didn't work. And I want to try again. Or you've not even tried at all. You don't know what to do. You're in a state of confusion and you don't know what to do. Again, this conversation is for you. Or even you have something that you have it figured out. But by the way, I should say nobody has it all figured out. Yep. I listen to many stories because of this that I do, and I just hear something and I'm like, God. So nobody has it all figured out. Nobody. Everyone is just trying his or her best. So you need a level of wisdom higher than the one that you already have. You need a level of understanding higher than the one that you already have. I'd always say to people that the challenges you are just a wisdom level away from the challenges you have. Because if you can acquire that level of wisdom necessary for that problem, it's not a challenge anymore. So most times it's a wisdom problem. Most times when people don't know what to do, it's a wisdom problem. So the more you know, and knowledge now not being enough, wisdom being the application of knowledge at the right time for the right reasons. So the more you know that you can usefully apply, the better the quality of your life. Is somebody with me this morning? So if you want a title, you can just say starting again, or starting life, or getting right, or doing whatever you choose to title it. The important thing is you get something out of this. Right? And I'd love us to start this morning with the popular story of the widow who ran to the prophet for help. The poor widow and then the prophet Elisha. Now just read it briefly so we can get right into it. So that is 2 Kings chapter number 4 and from verse 1. The book of 2 Kings. Of course, you're using the Bible, right? Book of 2 Kings chapter number 4 from verse 1. It says, one day the widow of a member of the group of prophets came to Elisha and cried out, my husband who served you is dead, and you know how he feared the Lord. But now a creditor has come threatening to take my 2 sons as slaves. Then Elisha said, what can I do to help you? Tell me, what do you have in the house? And the woman said, nothing at all, except a flask of olive oil, she replied. And Elisha said, borrow as many empty jars as you can from friends and family, from neighbors. Then go into your house with your sons and shut the door behind you. Pour olive oil from your flask into the jars, setting each one aside when it is filled. Verse 5. So she did as she was told. Her sons kept bringing jars to her, and she filled one after another. Soon every container was full to the brim. Then she said, bring me another jar. One of her sons replied and said, there aren't any more, he told her. And then the olive oil stopped flowing. When she told the man of God what had happened, he said to her, now sell the olive oil and pay your debts, and you and your sons can live on what is left. Hey, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. And Father, I ask for wisdom for those that are going to listen, that they would pick a word in season that is applicable to their lives, in the name of Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's the book of 2 Kings chapter number 4 from verse 1 to 7. But we're not going to run through the whole. If you have listened long enough on this show, you have heard me 1 or 2 times, refer to that particular verse of the Bible, scripture, that particular book, that chapter. But what I want us to focus on, maybe turn this into a series, who knows. But this morning, what I want us to focus on is maybe just the first and the second verse of the scripture. Verse 1 says, one day the widow of a member of the group of prophets came to Elisha and cried out. So she's a widow, and her husband who died was a member of the group of the prophets, meaning he was a godly person. He was a godly person. He was a man of God. Or let's even just basically say he was just a moralist, a good person. So whether he served God or not is not even the question now. Let's just say you are a moralist, you're a good person. But you can see now that being a good person did not exonerate him from being in debt. Being a good person, because I mean, we have a lot of people who say, oh, I did not kill anybody, I did not do anybody bad, so nobody will do me bad. Oga. No think calm. No think calm. You don't need to do anybody bad before anybody comes for you. In fact, there are many people who have done good and gotten bad, evil in return for the good they've done. So the goodness of your heart does not exempt you from the wrongs that can happen to human beings. It just talks about rain falling on what? The good and the bad. So if rain, which is a good thing, will fall on the good and the bad, also whatever is not good can fall on the good and the bad. So you need to understand that you being a good man, you being a good woman, you being a good boss, you being a good employee, you being a good husband or being a good wife does not mean that you won't face challenges in your life. Because the husband of this woman now was a good guy. That verse says, see, my husband who served you, meaning he had a mentor. In today's world, they'll tell ladies that, oh, don't marry a man who doesn't have an authority figure over his life. Don't marry a man who doesn't have people he listens to and all those things. So this man checked that box. He had an authority figure. Elisha was his authority figure. He served Elisha. So the woman didn't have any problem. Despite how good he was, he still died. That is number one. He didn't just die. He also had debt on him. Bese. He was owing people money. And one would think, oh, because he's dead and gone, that's all. Maybe the problem has ended. But no. The people he owed money still came after he had left, threatening to take his sons as slaves. The scripture says, a wise man does what? Leaves inheritance for his children's children. But this one did not leave inheritance for his children's children. He didn't even live for his own children. Rather, he left debt for them. He was owing people. And now these children that were supposed to live their own lives now have to go into slavery for the sins they did not commit. So you can see how over the generations, your father or your father's father or your father's father's father can pass down onto you the debt that you knew nothing about. And I'm not even talking financial in this sense. It may not just be money. There may be covenants that they've entered into and is moved from generation onto generation onto generation, and you are paying for the debt you did not, for the sin you didn't commit. You are paying the debt you did not eat. The food you did not eat, you are paying for. Are you getting me? And I've shared this story a number of times. Positive story, quite right, where a guy was walking past a restaurant and then he saw a signpost on the restaurant that said, "Come and eat, your father has paid." And he was so excited, and he stepped into the place and he ate as much as he could. And when he was ready to go, they said, "Oh, Oga, you've not paid." "But you said I should come eat, my father has paid." He said, "Yeah, but you have to pay for your own kids." So that's how things are passed from generation to generation. So this man was alive, was a good guy, he had a mentor, he had a figure over his head, he had his life going well. His wife, it wasn't recorded that the wife complained at any point. But the moment he was dead and gone, the problem started in his home. The moment he was dead and gone, the problem started in his home. The creditors were going to come and take his 2 sons, not even one, both of them for slaves. So are you that person? So yours may not be that someone is coming to take you for slavery. We don't have that in today's world, right? But you're paying for the sin you did not commit. And you know in your heart that the level of work you're putting into your life, your business, your career, you're not getting the kind of results you should get. Because there are people who are out there and they're not putting in as much work, but they're getting so much results. And you're worried. So I've come to tell you this morning that stop deceiving yourself thinking it is the work that you are doing that is going to justify the results you get. Because despite all the good works of this guy, he was owing money. That should even bring us to understanding that serving God, being a good person, doesn't mean you become financially wealthy. There's some people who I know who, before someone asks them for anything, they've done it. And I just smile. I say, you see, you're acting like El Shaddai. It's just a matter of time. You shall die. But that's what happened to this guy, to the husband of this widow. He was a good guy. So maybe, just maybe, because I mean, if Ben was telling me that there's a theological story behind this, but let's just say maybe he didn't even borrow money to eat. He didn't borrow money to spend on himself. He didn't borrow money to go on vacation. He didn't borrow money to buy clothes or buy the finest cars or anything. Maybe he even just borrowed money to help people. Now see how the goodness of his heart probably now is causing him to face problems, even in the death. It's somebody we made this morning, but that's not where we are even going to. And I think already that this is going to become a series. I mean, I was thinking about it like this morning. Okay, should we not? But let's make it a series. So you can call this the part 1 of how to start your life well. So now, having seen the problem that this lady faced, this widow, she didn't have money to pay. Her kids were about to be taken from her because her husband owed money. And that didn't mean that the problem would be solved. Because sometimes emotional problems, mental issues are more serious than financial issues. That your husband was owing money is not even the problem. Now you have to lose your own children to slavery. Now, what was the first thing this woman did? She approached the prophet. The scripture says, she came to the prophet and cried out. So maybe the first step you need to take in starting over is to go out and seek help. Cry out. And I hope you have a pen and paper and you're putting this down this morning. Cry out for help. Don't keep on sitting by yourself, trying to do all by yourself. The same way you've done it from January up until even July and hasn't worked for yourself. And you are ashamed that if you cry out, people will know you are suffering. Are you not suffering? Do I not just seek help and put the shame aside? Are you with me this morning? So the woman did what? Scripture says, one day she went to the prophet. One day meant there were other days she didn't go to the prophet. There were days where she probably sat and she cried and cried and cried and nothing changed. But the solution to her problem began the day she stood from her bed or from the chair and went to seek help. She sought help from the prophet. And she was even going to blackmail the prophet emotionally to say, see, my husband saved you. He feared the Lord. You know, he feared the Lord. But now he's dead and gone. And creditors have come to take my children. Seek help. So you know you've been experiencing stagnation in your business, in your career. And you are still there, fighting, hustling, bustling, using your strength to want to do it, which doesn't work. Remember I said at the beginning that you are just a wisdom level away from solving the problems you have. So the reason your problems are not being solved yet, it's probably because you do not have the level of knowledge to solve the problem. So if right now you don't have that level of problem and you still sit down in your house not doing anything about it. So one, you need to identify people who have solved this problem you have and approach them for help. See, whether you do or you don't do, they will talk. Because I can hear somebody saying now that, they will now know what is wrong with me. They will now be in my business. They will now be talking up. They are already talking. So carry that shame that you have, that inflated shoulder pad that you have, put it aside. Keep it in one corner of your room. You probably will go to it later. But right now, challenge yourself that I'm going to write down the names of 5 people who are doing well in this area that I need to do well. It could even be your health. I mean, there are many people who, I like Instagram. I consume content on Instagram. And then you see people who do this fit farm thing and they look all good. And you're like, okay, I like their body, I'll try to be like them. And day 1, day 2, day 3, nothing is changing. In fact, you've not even started the exercise. You've not even registered the gym. Maybe you need someone to hold your hand. Maybe you need someone to tell you how to go about it. Because seeing someone's finished product, seeing what people look like at the end of their process, doesn't guarantee you the knowledge of what the process was. Did you hear that? Seeing that a person is rich doesn't tell you how the person made money. Seeing a person looking handsome or beautiful doesn't tell you the what do they call it now? The self-care routine, skincare routine. Thank you. The skincare routine the person goes through every day. Seeing that a person looks very fit, healthy, doesn't tell you what the person did to become healthy. So you may need to approach such people, put your shame aside and ask, what did you do? Help me. I'm at ground 0. I want to get to ground 100. How can I get there? Seek help. Seek what? Seek help. And when you do receive help, or when you do seek help rather, be willing, be open-minded enough, be flexible enough to receive help. Because many times people will ask for help, but they are not willing to receive the response you give them. What they actually are asking for is for you to do it for them, to give them fish, not to teach them how to fish. And the reason you are where you are is because you've always eaten fish. You didn't know how to fish. You still are not willing to know how to fish, and you are complaining. Is somebody with me this morning? So, number 1, seek help. Be it professional, whatever form of help it is. Expose yourself to the people that can help you. Admit that you don't know how to do it. I need help. Because a lot of people are dying in silence. Even in marriages. That's the interesting part. Last night I was seeing a movie and the husband was such a narcissistic. Jesus Christ. See, that was another level of narcissism. That was another level. Premium narcissism. But this woman kept quiet. Why? Because she didn't want people to say that. And she was dying in silence until she was going to kill herself. Until she was going to commit suicide. Take her life. When she could have sought help. Guess what? When she eventually committed suicide, but it didn't work, she was rescued. Her sister even blamed her for being the one that was the problem in her marriage. Because nobody knew she was at the receiving end of the pain. Nobody knew what she was going through. They thought she was the problem. So you can see now that people may even want to help you, but they do not know what you are going through. And there is no way they can help the person they don't know is going through challenges. Is somebody with me this morning? And I need you to think about this critically. That you may just be your own biggest problem. The fact that you come out, you touch up, you wear your Christmas clothes and everything looks good, but you know you are suffering. In the words of someone who I really, really like, but I'll not mention his name, he said in one of his songs, he said, people look at him and say, boy, you are blessed, but they don't see the inside of his unhappiness. And that would mean that this guy shows up every time, goes to shows and all these things looking really, really good, but he was dying inside. He's not a Nigerian musician, by the way. And to give context, if you can guess, he's in prison at the moment. So those years when he was doing very well, we all celebrated him, but there was rot going on in his life. And guess what? Everything in the dark will someday come to see light. And when what is going on inside you, in your life, in your room, in your closet, that nobody knows about now, you're using your hand to cover it so that they will not see, they would eventually see. Is it not better now that you open it up to light and let light shine on it and then it gets solved, than you cover it up and later in future you begin to suffer for what you could have fixed? Is somebody with me this morning? You could have solved the problem by opening up, seeking help. But you did what? You decided to, Yoruba people will say, to ba dake, tariabe dake. Meaning, if you keep quiet, what is wrong with you, also keep quiet. It doesn't mean it will die. It will keep quiet and be there with you. But if you seek help, you find solutions. Somebody with me this morning. So she approached the prophet And then she cried out. I love the way NLT put it. Cried out. So she wasn't sweet talking. She wasn't talking with bedroom voice so that they won't know that she cried out. My husband who saved you is dead, and you know how he feared the Lord. But now the creditor has come threatening to take my 2 sons as slaves. Help me. Who are you crying out to? I said we need to expose light. I say this often and often as many times as people will listen, that when anything is in the light, it's most likely doing right. I'll say it again. When anything is in the light, it's most likely doing right. Things hardly go wrong when they are in the light. In fact, creative processes happen in the light. When God was going to make the world, what he did for us was say, let there be light. Because light is a prerequisite for order. Light is a prerequisite for order. The level of order, structure, progress you enjoy in your life can be a function of the amount of light you've exposed your life to. There is nobody that comes to the public place to do something wrong and does it with his chest. I know, things go wrong in today's world, but that's not what I'm talking about. So you have a bad habit. You won't come in front of your house, open the door, and let everybody see you doing that bad habit. You probably do it behind closed doors, because bad things are often done in the dark. So that thing that is wrong with you, that situation you are in that you're not telling anybody about, is most likely because you are not exposing it to the public. You're not exposing it to the right set of people, the people who can help you with it. You decide to keep it to yourself. You decide to do what? Keep it to yourself. And the more you keep it to yourself, covered up, no light will shine on it. And until light shines on it, it may not just become right. If somebody with me this morning, and we're still talking about starting your life right. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far you've gone in the wrong direction. You can turn around today and begin to go in the right direction. There are tons of stories about people who they've gone far in life, advanced in age, and then they realized at some point that I've been doing the wrong thing. I've been taking the wrong way. I am doing it wrong. And they admit it to themselves and they decide to turn around. It doesn't matter how far you've gone in the wrong direction. You can wake up this morning and say, Yemi, thank you. I'm going to start moving in the right direction. It won't come without its own challenges. It will. With its own challenges. It will come with its own challenges. It won't be a walk in the park for you. It's going to be you walking against what you know. Do you know what culture is? You know what the Bible says about culture? It says you've made the word of God of no effect by your culture. You know what culture is? As they taught us then in primary school, culture is the way of life. Culture is essentially how you do stuff. Culture is not what was passed down to you by your parents, by your parents' parents, or by your Amadi or her, or Ogun, or Oya, or village people. No, that's not culture. Culture is how you live your life that has become the way you live your life. The things you do on a daily that has become a part of you over years. It's usually difficult to change those things. That's culture. And until you challenge that culture that you've forced yourself into becoming, because it can become your culture. Until you challenge yourself to get out of that cultural pattern, things may not change. Until you challenge yourself. In the business world, they will tell you culture will eat strategy for breakfast. So no matter how great your strategy is, your organizational culture will destroy that strategy. So you've gotten a consultant. Hey, come, help me check my business. Help me put the right things in the right places. And this person has come, he's collected all the millions of naira from you. He set up this blueprint that you can work with. And then you start implementing it, but it's not working. It's not that the blueprint is not working. It's not that the strategy can't work. It is that the culture of your organization is not letting it work. So somebody will say, I'm a shy person. I don't talk. I don't want people to be in my business. That is why you are where you are. That That is why you're where you are. If you roll enough with the wise people, you become wise. As somebody will say, if you count people around you, 5 foolish people around you, you didn't count well. There are 6 of them. You are the 6th one. If you count to 5 wise people around you, there are not 5 people. There are 6 of them. You are the 6th one. So you're an aggregate of the people you roll with. So challenge yourself that I'm going to stop putting the hand that is paining me inside my pocket. I'm going to bring it out so that sunlight will see it. Fresh air will blow on it. I'll be able to. People will say, what's wrong with you? How can we help? Because it's only people they can see that they can help. Nobody will help you when they can't see you. I was talking with a mentor of mine some weeks ago, and I shared what I was planning to do with him, and he just helped me put it in perspective and just say, okay, you know what, that is fine, but why not see this? Why not see that? I'm like, okay, oh really? Whereas in my own head, I thought I had it all figured out. But just by saying it out to someone who had also gone ahead of me in life, he helped me put it in perspective. Sometimes these people may not even get it right, may not have gotten it right when they were doing it, during your own season, when they were at your own time. But the fact that they have the benefit of the hindsight now, they can see from an overview what they did wrong, how they did it wrong, and how they can correct it, and they can help you correct it also. Are you with me this morning? We're still on the first verse. And it says, the woman went to the prophet. She cried out, she emotionally blackmailed him, telling him that my guy, my husband that died, he saved you. So you should do something about it. You should do something about it. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Is somebody with me this morning? So now, what did the prophet say in response? And of course, you can read it. The second verse, he said, what can I do to help you? Hey, what can I do to help you? So could it be that the world has been waiting to help you all the while, but you've been the one shortchanging yourself by not doing what? By not speaking out, by not seeking help, by not getting out of your comfort zone of, I'm a quiet person, I don't let people know what is wrong with. So help was waiting for this woman. Help was waiting for her. But she didn't get it because she didn't ask for it. She didn't get it because she didn't ask for it. Now, verse 2, it says, what can I do to help you? Elisha asked. Hey. But I'm going to stop for now. Stop here for today. We'll continue this conversation next week, Sunday. But I want to take calls because I know maybe a couple of people already have questions, something bothering their mind as regards what we've discussed thus far. I want you to call me this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my apostle. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Happy
How are you
Sunday.
doing?
I'm fine. My name is Goodness. Long time to hear from you. More than 3 Sunday now, I don't hear from you.
I'm sorry. I was out of town. I was out of town. But I'm back now. I'm back now.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you very
God bless you this morning. God bless you. I'm so happy to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How are you doing?
Thank you, friend. I'm fine.
Okay, great. All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Monday.
Mr. Monday, go ahead, please.
You talk about wisdom, and I want to know about somebody who is fearless and who don't have wisdom, because Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Okay.
How can that person acquire it and get more?
The same Bible. Thank you very much. The same Bible that you just quoted says, he who lacks wisdom should do what? Should ask. So ask God. Ask God. He wants to give you wisdom. In fact, he has given you. James 1:5. He says, if any one of you lacks wisdom, you should do what? You should ask. If any one of you lacks wisdom, ask. That's how to get it. Hello, good morning.
No, me, what I want to ask is that some people, when you tell them, ask them,
there will be more, so that will make it a shame. When you tell person your problem, you don't meet your need and you don't encourage you before you know you'll be hearing it outside.
True that.
Then you will feel somehow.
True that. I understand. But can I say to you that the fact that you heard your gist outside, did it change your situation or not? It didn't change it, right? So people talking about your problem, people talking about you, would not change the price of garri in the market. It won't. So you need to grow to that level where you become shameless. We'll get to the point where, okay, let me not even jump the gun. When I said this is going to be a series, you must ask and be ready to be shamed. As one person will say, you can't shame the shameless. You are the one that needs help. You are the one, if you are sick, right? Very sick, and they are telling you to go to the hospital, they will take care of your medical bills, but after taking care of it, they will announce to the whole world that they were the ones that took care. Won't you still go? Because you want to be well. You are at the point of death. You will go. So at that point, you are more concerned about being well than what people will say. Because you are at a critical situation, you accept that. But this one, because you still maybe have some money in your account you are using to eat, you are not worried. It's okay for people to see. If the thing knock you where you don't go think about what people they talk. But that's on one dimension. The other dimension is that you must also look closely at the people you speak to. Some people make money from talking than from doing. And I'll explain that in a bit. Let me take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ibrahim. I'm calling from Surulere.
Your name is what?
Ibrahim. I'm calling
Ibrahim from Surulere. Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just joined your program right now.
Okay.
And you heard the topic by saying that, like, the woman should ask. I just want to see it can for, like, is it possible for person to open up what he's up to? Maybe to his mom or maybe his loved ones, that, okay, this is my plan in the next 2 to 3 months from now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to ask,
Okay.
is that okay or not?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. Now, you are asking about opening up to your family, your wife, for instance, your vision for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. In fact, that should not even be a question. That should be the default thinking. There is no better person to know about where you are headed in life than your spouse. The reason you have a spouse is so that you can get support on your journey. The Bible says God saw that man could not do it alone, so he created for him a help suitable for him. So the job of your spouse is to help you. If your spouse does not know where you are headed to, she cannot help you. So it is in fact important, critical for you to carry your spouse along. I mean, when ladies talk to me about men, the first question I'll ask them is, what is his vision? Because a man who doesn't know where he's going to is not worth following. Will you enter a bus at the bus stop and you not hear the conductor shouting any destination? You just enter and sit down. No, you enter because the conductor is screaming the place that you are going to. And then you submit yourself to the leadership of the driver of that bus until you get there. So why are you not telling your spouse where you are going to? In fact, that should be the first thing. At the point of even seeing the woman a person wants to marry, let this woman know, this is where I'm going to in life. Oh, you don't marry people because you love them. I'm sorry. I'm not really of. You can. Okay, that's not even the topic of conversation. You marry people that align with your vision, so that both of you can join resources, join hands together and work towards achieving that vision. I'm sorry I've been missing calls. Please do well to call me back. Let me take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Let me off the radio. Hello.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sonny. I'm
Okay.
calling from Bokno.
Sonny from Bokno. Please turn off your radio set or walk away from it.
I think it's fine now.
Fantastic. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Let me add to what you are saying.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes procrastinating your problem may add to your problem. Number one is to know the right people to share the problem to. For example, you may tell somebody that you're having this issue. Instead of that person to show a help, the person will start giving you examples of people that had the same issue that failed. Instead of giving you example of those that have the same issue and overcome the issue. So the most important thing is knowing the right people to share your problem to. Because there are people that when you share the problem with them, they will kill you before the problem kills you. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that.
I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So sometimes, like, there was a time I failed in a business. I think I was on a debt. I shared to a friend. The friend was like, Mr. Sonny, you are dead though. That is what happened to Mr. Wale. He's dead now. That is what happened to Mr. Shegun. He's now in the village. That is, start giving you those kind of examples. You'll be like, instead of encouraging you. But when I met the right person, one thing that the right person, the first thing that he told me is that come back, return back, change your mindset first. When you change your mindset, remove fear from yourself. Once you remove fear, that problem will overcome, because you can never solve any problem when you are in fear.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Thank you so much.
Are you getting me?
Thank you very much.
The basic thing is knowing the right people that you can share your problem. Don't share to people that will add more to your problem. Share to that person that you know that will solve or give you a solution.
Thank you. Let's let others
solving the problem.
Thank you. Is this the same Sonny I know?
It's possible.
The voice is very familiar. It is very familiar. Thank you very much for calling, Sonny. Have a wonderful day. Okay. And what Sonny just said is very, very accurate. But that's not, we've not gotten there. This is going to be a series. I'm really glad that we are discussing this at this particular time. Right? But we'll get there. Stick with me. Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. I'm catching fun with this, your program. About this. Some people are the amount, anyone won't go on, they are always yes. But because Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. Let's acquire sense. So is it by too much fasting or praying or by asking from God? Because I don't really know. So you need to teach me more, because we learn every day.
All right.
Thank you.
Just make sure you stick around. Every Sunday morning, you get to learn this. Right? Okay. Thank you very much for calling. Okay. 0700 903 903 903. And as Sonny said, sometimes, a lot of times actually, the quality of the people you talk to is as important as you talking itself. And I'm going to share with us how to know the strategies to know the right people to even share your concerns with. Okay, so I want to say a very big thank you to everyone. Okay, let me see if I can take one more call. Let me just hope this works. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name and
me,
where?
sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, please, I would like to ask how to reach out to you personally, either by phone or whatever means.
Okay, no problem. I would share your contact before the end of the show. You can reach out to. Okay.
Huh?
I'll share your contact before the end of the show. Just keep listening.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a conversation this morning. To choose to title it whatever you want to, or you can just simply title it Starting All Over Again, or Starting Well. And I trust God to help us as we dig deeper in this conversation. Because at the end of this, I would love that people are liberated and begin to take the right decisions that will move their lives forward. I'll just take one tiny little call and then I'm out of this studio. But I should say thank you to everybody who's been part of the program from the beginning. Let's do this again next week, Sunday, 7 a.m. through 9 a.m. every Sunday morning on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Yemi Adeoye, and you can follow me on our social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, X, whatever it is. You can follow me. I just still want to take one last call before I say my final bye. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Oh, very clear voice. What's your name, please?
My name is Hugo.
Hugo, from where?
Yes. From Benz.
From base. Go ahead, Hugo. You have 30 seconds.
Yes. Please, I want to ask a question.
Shoot.
What of if you are going to ask for help, or maybe somebody to help you for money or in any way? Will you dress scattered or will you use your normal? Because sometimes it may be, if you are clean, they will say everything is okay with you. That's my question, please.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true. Thank you very much for that actually important question. See, you cannot do God's work in your life with your human sense. You cannot use your own 5 senses to decipher what God is doing in your life. Because if you can, you won't be where you are. You would have deciphered it many years before now. So whether you dress tattered or wear your Christmas clothes, whatever it is, it doesn't change anything. If God has sent a person to you, no matter how bad you are looking, the person will come close. No matter how good you are looking, the person will still help you out. It is the person God has sent to you that will help you. But your own job is to take the step of faith. Take that step of faith by opening your mouth and seeking help. If you ask this person and it doesn't help you, you've not lost anything. That's the truth. You've not lost anything. Move on to the next person. Move on to the next person. If that one says no, no problem. Move on to the next person. Maybe the biggest problem I've sensed from these calls I've received this morning is that a lot of people are concerned about what people will say about them. We are too worried about people's opinions. People's opinions have... Oh no, I have just a few seconds to get out of the studio. I'm going to continue this conversation next week Sunday. Please do well to not miss it. I'll take the part 2 of the conversation. If you have messages or questions or something you want to seek wisdom about, just send to 0802 893 9470. I'll take it again. 0802 893 9470. Just send a WhatsApp message to that number and then you get a response. I'll catch you guys next week Sunday. God bless you.